There are four different kinds of cadences. The first kind is authentic cadence. Authentic cadence essentially is anything that ends from 5 to 1, and it could be a 5/7, but to a Roman numeral 1. There are two kinds within the authentic cadence. The first kind is called the perfect authentic, where both Roman numerals would need to be in the root position. And the second chord, which is Roman numeral 1, the soprano, which is the highest note, has to be the tonic. The second kind is half cadence. Half cadence is any phrase that ends on 5 or 5/7. So it could be anything but resolves in 5. The third kind is plagal. Plagal is phrases that end on 4 to 1. And last but not least, deceptive cadence starts on 5 or 5/7 and on 6. In these Roman numerals, obviously, we're assuming that we are in a major key. Because obviously, if you are in a minor key, then the Roman numeral qualities would change. But we will just assume that we are in major keys. Let's look at the first, authentic cadence. Authentic cadence is anything that goes from dominant to tonic, 5 to 1, sometimes 5/7. So it will be a dominant seventh chord resolving to 1. There are two kinds of authentic cadence. One is the perfect authentic cadence. PAC is the perfect authentic cadence. That is when both chords are in the root position. Root position. In addition, the tonic has to be on the highest voice, which is right here. So you will need to have the tonic in the soprano voice in the second chord. And the perfect authentic cadence would sound like this. That is assuming we are in the key of C major. The second kind of authentic cadence is the imperfect authentic cadence, and it's known as IAC, imperfect authentic cadence. Imperfect authentic cadence is whatever is not the perfect authentic cadence. So that means if you are in any kind of inversions for 5 to 1, if it's like 5/6 to 1/6, for instance, or if it's 5/6/5 to 1/6/4. So none of them, they need to both be in root position in order to be perfect. So anything other than perfect authentic cadence would be an imperfect authentic cadence. But remember that whatever goes from 5 to 1, that's authentic cadence. And this cadence is probably the most commonly heard, most commonly used. Here are some examples for imperfect authentic cadence. That's when you have inversions for these chords. First, the second one, the third one, they don't sound as stable in a way because you don't have the tonic at the ending chord in the soprano line. That's the first example. The second example, your tonic or your one chord is in the inversion, so you don't have that dominant to tonic stable bass progression. And this third example is where you have the 5 is in inversion. So that is imperfect authentic cadence. If we move on to the second kind of cadence, it's the half cadence. Half cadence is any cadence ending on the dominant, ending on 5. It doesn't matter what the chord is before the 5. Let me play the example for you. That's a 5/7. It sounds like it's half done, right? That's why it's called the half cadence. We're in the key of G major, and this chord is the 5/7. So this cadence would be a half cadence. So anything that stops on 5 or 5/7 or 5/6 doesn't need to be in root position. The third kind is the plagal cadence. Plagal is you have 4 to 1. And it doesn't really matter what inversion or root position they are in. So it's subdominant to tonic 1. It's also known as the Amen cadence because most of the hymns, church music, usually ends in plagal cadence. So this is the plagal cadence that you have in this example. I'll start from the beginning of this example. And the ending 4, 1. That's usually in the hymns at the end of that, whatever song you sing, and the ending is always plagal at the end. 4, 1. Okay. Last is the deceptive cadence. Deceptive is a little bit deceptive. It's deceiving because instead of 5 resolving to 1, it actually goes to 6, a minor chord even. Deceptive is when you have dominant resolved to, other than tonic, goes to 6. Okay? And deceptive sounds like this. If I'm in the key of C major and I have 5, deceptive, it's misleading because when you have 5, you normally want to resolve to 1 to have a authentic cadence, but instead it goes to 6, so that's a little bit deceiving. So these are the 4 types of